What is going on there, everyone, and welcome back to another video from Dracon. Today, guys, we're going to be talking about one that I've been sitting on this one for a while. Gotta be honest, I could have opened it some time ago, but I haven't because I wanted to wait till I reviewed it. And this one, it's not going to be as much of a puff piece at WizKids on this one. I know it's a shame, but this one, I honestly sort of even regret buying because, you know, I mean, the artwork on it's pretty good, as you can see there, but like, taking a look at the artwork, you're getting 6 Grung. Like, I mean, I love the idea of the sculpts and stuff. That part's not the problem. The problem is going to be everything I discuss about these miniatures. That's going to be the problem. So, get ready. So, let's get this bad boy open, and we're going to take a look at each of the Grung inside, and we're going to talk about what I have problems with and what I like about it. So, let's open it up and begin. So first up here, we go with the green Grung. Very standard little warrior. I mean, these are your basically standard guys. This one is carrying a spear, and it looks like some quiver of arrows. I kind of wish they had to like given him a bow instead if you're going to give him a bunch of arrows, but I think that might be for more of a different Grung later on. Or maybe those are darts. I'm not really 100% sure. The paint job on this guy is pretty dark, especially if we compare him to the older miniatures from a different set. And speaking of that, here we have next to the Grung from the Dungeon of the Mad Mage set. And as you can see, he's a lot darker than them for like no real reason. Now, I know it's like maybe they wanted him to look a little more unique, but next to his fellow green Grung, he looks so much different. Now, I mean, these guys, of course, are knife wielding. They have no clothing bits at all on them, unlike their green Grung friend who has at least a shoulder plate, but they're basically the same creature. It's weird that they're so different. Now, granted, I don't mind that necessarily in the sense that, you know, frogs aren't all the same. They're not a cut and paste copy of every single design. That doesn't bother me. What I don't like, though, is the color, because now frogs, with poison frogs, they like to be bright colors. How else do you show you're poisonous if you're dull and gray, like if you're that really grungy green? Like, and I know, like I said, they're not the most impressive of the Grung speed, like, hierarchy, but I kind of wish they'd gotten a little more love on these minis. I mean, yes, they do have a little bit of bendiness, but I can always fix that with a little heat later. So it's not the end of the world. I'll fix that at some point. Oh, my camera just fixed it. There we go. Now we're going to move on to the next Grung. This one is like kind of, I believe, supposed to be just a simple cast on like a random Grung. Like I think this is like their makers. Because as you can see in this, he's at a little stoop posture. He's not fully standing. He's got like a little bit of like, I guess you could say a cobbled leaf. Maybe that's his back. And this Grung is, you know, making a basket. So I'm guessing these guys are the ones who make the baskets, and they're the little crafters of the species or the community, which is fine. I don't mind more Grung that have different positions if you especially want to make a Grung village, and maybe even use bullywogs to round it out and kind of, you know, make a frog village where they happen to live together. I don't know if they're at war, if they do work together or not in their lore. I have to look that up. But you know, not too bad. I mean, at least it's, you know, a little bit brighter than the green one. But moving on. Next up, we have a higher rank, the purple Grung, which has a knife, some, like, stick-made, like, armor. Got some, like, feathers and stuff, and a little neck piece. It's got, like, some more feathers at his, like, neck side. So basically, his armor's amount of effort in there, it probably means he's higher in the caste system than the other Grung. Probably near the more top tier of these Grung. I mean, there's probably one other Grung that might be similar to him, but he's pretty cool looking. I kind of like him. Pretty cool for a PC if you wanted someone in the group to play a Grung. Would be pretty cool. But, like I said, it is still just a small Grung. Moving on. Next up here, we have the yellow Grung. I believe it's supposed to be. They don't label them, which they really kind of should. But as you can see, he's an archer. He's got his bow and arrow. He's got it drawn. He's sitting on top of a little stump. Got the big quiver up there, and those are definitely arrows on his back. I mean, looking at the green one, if his were arrow, I think his are more of like just extra sticks. So they're definitely different, which is good. They're not wielding the same inventory. I do like it. He's got a nice design. He would definitely make a very nice NPC or PC in the group. If you want someone to play a Grung, he has that nice personality and kind of coolness about him. But let's compare him to some of the other yellow Grung of the past sets. And once again, we're going to go with the Mad Mage Yellow Grung, which are also archers like he is. Obviously, they have changed it and made them more frog-like instead of more cartoony rounded head, which I don't mind. Because in the older ones, you can see they actually have these big buggy eyes, but they had this big cartoonishly rounded head. This Grung here in the middle, or the new Grung, he's got more of a frog look to him, which I kind of like. He's got more frog than this rounded head than his brethren so far. Which makes it work. Like, you get the actual, like, eye definition, the eye socket, which makes it more unique. And I kind of like it for that reason. I do like his design. He's got a very nice design. Next up, we have the red Grung, which I believe is supposed to be like a shaman. He's got like skeletal little bone necklace, got the thorny vines coming out, and the stick. He's either a wizard, druid, or a sorcerer or something of the group, sort of like a spiritual leader sort of thing. And you know what? It kind of works. It looks cool. I like his design. I like the little vines coming out. They look really nice. They look well done. Stick is a little simple, but you know, it is just a stick, so I can't expect much. I wish he had a little bit more like drapage on him, something, because I mean, if he's like kind of the caster, you think they'd be important to these Grungs since they're the magic users. And he's got like this kind of a ridge on top of his head, which makes him unique and cool. But let's compare him to another kind of magical looking being, or actually, I'm not sure if he's a magical looking. Yeah, we'll compare him to that because they look kind of both like witch doctors, so we'll compare him. Here he is next to a boggart, or basically I think the the bullywogs from Pathfinder, basically, or the froggish people. Definitely would be useful. You can see they're both kind of this witch doctor-y look to them, or at least the sort of a shaman of the group. The bullywog looks a little bit more darker, while the Grung there is a little bit more like into nature look. So, you know, not bad. Looks cool. You know, not bad at all. Now I guess the magnum opus of the set, the pinnacle. The Golden Grung. The Grung who is like the big time chief or leader of this pack. Or, sorry, the leader of this warband. Now, he's got a lot of stuff going on, and I like it. I like the ornate headdress. I like that he's only got a small, like, obsidian looking dagger. He's got that kind of like, you know, definitely the leader of this group type look, which is good, which is nice. But let's compare him with all of his group again before we get on the final comments. Okay, so here we have the full 6 of the warband. And as you can guess, not a lot of minis. That right there is my first gripe. 6 Grung for the price. Now, I'm going to talk about what I got it for on Amazon. When I got it on Amazon, it was on sale for a flat like $29.99. Normally, it was $32.99. So, and it's got a little bit more. And I think it's up to $34. So I think it's slowly increasing in price. But so I really have to say, do I recommend buying this off the shelf immediately? You know, probably not. And there's a couple alternatives I'm probably going to throw out there as well, because in truth, you're probably better off getting the Grung from the Dungeon of the Mad Mage. Yes, you're going to get more yellow and green Grung, but if you want like savage Grung that are attacking your party and like you're invading their space and they're immediately attacking, those are the Grung that are going to do it. Don't get me wrong, the purple, yellow, and green of this group are pretty nice, and even the red one if you wanted a druidic style Grung to join the fight. And even their captain there to maybe give him some type of inspiration. But the blue Grung there is making a basket. He doesn't really scream much of a fighter in that design. I mean, I did make a blue Grung of my own, so 1 second. There's my own brute there on the right. He's on a full medium base because of his size and the fact that he's bigger and a thicker body. Like, he doesn't have spindly little arms. He actually has big, meaty arms. He's a brute. Got also like little horns on his head too, which makes him a little different than the fellow Grung. I actually made him like, because he's a special class, that light blue and the slight purple. He's like a unique class in between the, like, a day laborer, because yes, they could still do day labor being their bulky selves. And then also like, you know, he's a big time warrior or like a special guard. So he's outside the normal caste system. But I made that one on my resin printer recently when I made a bunch of minis. I threw them on there to see how he'd come out. And I could have made him a little bigger, obviously, if I wanted to be more like, say, for instance, let me just set one up here. That bullywog guard, if I wanted to be a bit beefier, if I wanted to be more match-wise to the frog folk or the bullywogs. But, you know, if we compare them to all the other frog folk that I happen to have, like, and as you can see, I do have some frog folk. You could easily make a nice little frog village. This looks more like a warband. By taking my bullywogs and my Grung that I had from before and the new Grung mixing, now I got like a good solid group to throw at a party of players, because Grung don't, they're not meat sponges, man. They don't take hits that well before they keel over. Yes, they can do poison, but if one of the allies if one of your allies happens to have a heal poisons or heal or has a way to negate poisons, basically all the Grung have are just like the little arrows and stuff that just hit them. And don't get me wrong, a bunch of arrows can eventually bring down anything, but I mean, over time, they're going to most likely get slaughtered before your players really go, man, that wasn't as much of a hard fight. It was just getting to each Grung and putting it down. Like, and you don't want your players to remember that with a fight with an aggressive Grung people. And then getting into price, I'm going to say now like $32 to $36 for this stuff. I mean, 6 minis. I kind of actually got to say, come on, Wiz Kids. Come on, Wizards. Like, this is something I definitely would have shopped more before I released it. I think this needed more. This needed more miniatures. Now, I know what you're thinking is like, but not every one of them comes with more than 6. Like, I think the Goblin Pack came with only 6. And the price of these Warbands is getting really kind of sad. Like, I mean, go back to the original Icons of the Realm packs. We had the Cave Defenders where it came with a lovely large ogre. You had some goblins and you had some orcs. Lovely. You had a good plethora of minis. You had like what, 6 total, but you got an ogre. Then you had the Village Raider set where you had the 2 aggressive, you had the gnolls, you had the orcs, and then you had some more goblins in a group. And you had like what, I think it was like 7 or 8 minis in that one. I don't think it was 6, but even if it was, you had these lovely big medium class miniatures. And then you went to the Cobalt set. That one was okay originally before it started kind of going up in price, because now I think that thing's up to like $50. So if you guys didn't get it back when it was cheaper at like 30 something, you might be getting screwed now. Sorry guys, nothing I can do about that. But I do have to say, I wish the Wiz Kids and the Wizard of the Coast would change their pricing and make things a little cheaper, because they got to compete with my lovely Brute there. That thing cost me in resin, when I divided it out with him and every other mini I had on that plate at the time, and this was with my Anacubic, so it's not with my newer printer that's bigger, where I could have made a crap load of this guy and had like an army of Brutes with big clubs running at you for Grung. But this Grung was literally 3 sets of resin, apparently. When I did all the divvying out, the dividing, now I went rough division. I didn't actually look up how much each one was per se. I just did rough division based on it. Like, the whole entire plate cost me $2 and like some cents. With all of them I had stacked up, and I took off a little bit. Well, I guess I have to add a little more for his supports. He didn't have too many, luckily, because he's very kind of clutched in, so he doesn't have a lot of exposed. So he really might have been 5 cents, a nickel of resin to make that guy. That is so much cheaper, because to make 6 of him would have been like 30 cents. 30 cents versus 32 to 30 to upwards almost to 38 sometimes for 6 Grung. Like, I'm hoping this one is going to be that kind of one where they go, like, okay, this one was not a good release. We need to release better, or if we're going to release a Grung Warband pack, there needs to be more in the pack. Like, I think they should have had some some little mini terrain pieces, maybe even like some, I don't know, maybe like some small like packs, some stump catches, or like, something like that, like some forest terrain, something to go with it to help make them worth it. Because like the way it was, these 6 Grung, I really honestly regret buying them. It wasn't a good purchase in my part. I'm honestly probably never going to ever buy another Warband pack now that I have a Chieftain. But I mean, with my resin printing going on, I got to say, honestly, I'm starting to lose the urge to buy these amazing packs, even though, yeah, it's a cool pack. I love the idea of getting more of these beast folks and minion creatures for the battle. But like I said, it's 6 small creatures. None of them are bigger. They're all small. And they're great additions, but they're not worth it to be their own standalone, like, piece on the shelf, in my opinion. That should be the thing. I think, honestly, a fair price for these would be like $15. Not a whole, like, almost upward, getting close to $40 now. It's just not worth it, because that means each mini inside is worth so much. And I'm like, but resin costing, as you can see, can defeat that and make a mini just as good, if not cooler, more dynamic looking. because he's got because my brute there, I mean, I put a little flocking, just a little flocking on his base and he's ready to go and beat down some enemies with his giant brute club. Like, dang, dude. So WizKids, you know, Wizards of the Coast. I'm hoping you see this and maybe you think, okay, we got to do a little bit of some changing. Prices on these things are getting a little crazy. Guys, don't let the whole like, oh, things are getting more expensive be a reason just to want more money. Give people what they want at a reasonable price. That's all I'm saying. Now, if you guys disagree, go ahead and throw the comments down below. If you want to get a hold of me on my Discord, go for it on the Dracon's channel. You can also get a hold of me on my Twitter at 01Berserker or for Dracon. Be the actual name for it. But if you also want to talk about minis or do anything like that, go ahead and hit me up there, guys. Anything you want to talk about, I'm game. Also check out our podcast, The Dice and Dummies. We'll hopefully start doing live soon. So, you know, guys, keep tuned. I might do a message on Twitter more likely, just because it's a lot easier for the more masses to see it. Where I'll tell them, hey guys, we're doing our first live stream. If you want to tune in here and we'll get started. And you're going to see, you know, live instead of having it edited. Well, anyway, guys, that's all I've got for today. I'm going to see you next time. If you haven't hit that, I thank you for getting this far in the video. If you haven't hit the like button, do that. Do all the YouTube algorithm stuff to help the channel grow. And make sure you subscribe if you haven't done so already. That way you're getting those notifications to hopefully, yes, I know YouTube's not great with them, but still, for the next time I throw out a video. Anyway, guys, I'll see you next time. Have a great one. Bye-bye.